Where are they now? One of the most dominant and most popular college players we have ever seen, Jimmer Fredette. When thinking about NCAA basketball, it is impossible to forget Jimmer Mania in his final year of college. His historic run with BYU transformed him into a basketball celebrity, and fans across the country couldn't get enough of this guy. Jimmer said that he couldn't go anywhere without being asked for pictures and autographs, and was on SportsCenter every night. And according to his wife Whitney, they couldn't go places and do anything due to his popularity at the time. The Jimmer Mania fandom was really on another level. But after Jimmer's time in college, he slowly faded out of the spotlight, making people question whatever happened to him. So in this video, I will be giving you a much needed update on the basketball career and life of Jimmer Fredette, because a lot has happened to him this past decade. But before I get into all of that, let's touch on his college greatness first. Jimmer was always a key part of BYU basketball during his 4 years with the team. As a freshman, he averaged 7 points on 19 minutes a game and then jumped to 16 points per game in his sophomore year once he became a solidified starter. Averaging 16 points per game in college is incredible, but Jimmer's last 2 years of college is what people really remember him for. During Jimmer's junior year, he averaged 22 a game and had multiple 40-plus point performances during the regular season. He led BYU to a 30-6 record, which earned the Cougars a spot in the 2010 NCAA tournament. BYU was matched up against Florida in the first round, and Jimmer shined when it mattered most. He finished his first ever March Madness game with a 37-point performance in a double overtime win. Sadly for BYU though, their season was over just a few days later when they lost to Kansas State in the second round. But this was actually the first time in 17 years that BYU made it out of the first round. So fans viewed this as a successful season. But Jimmer's junior year was not nearly as good as the following one, because he led BYU to a 32-5 record, averaging 29 points a night during the 2010-2011 season. This was the year when he really transformed into Jimmer Mania. Fans couldn't get enough of this guy, and millions of people across the globe wanted to see him succeed in the March Madness tournament, which is exactly what Jimmer did. He averaged 33 points per game in the 2011 tourney and brought the Cougars all the way to the Sweet 16, which is the first time BYU made it that far in 30 years. Sadly, the Cougars fell short to Florida in the Sweet 16, but Jimmer's senior year was one of the most historic individual seasons we have ever seen, and will be cherished by basketball fans forever. That's enough talking about Jimmer's legendary collegiate career. Now let's get into everything that has happened to him since college. Before getting into that, I want to talk about the best sports betting app on the market, DraftKings Sportsbook. This video is actually sponsored by DraftKings, and they are making it easy to enjoy this Sunday night, regardless if the team you're cheering for loses. New DraftKings bettors that use code STRICTLY and put as little as $5 on the big game will instantly get $200 in bonus bets deposited to their account. If I was physically present in an eligible state, I would 100% be doing this. I would be taking that $200 in bonus bets and try out the same game parlays feature, which works the same way as a regular parlay, but it allows you to combine multiple outcomes from the same game. This way I'm not waiting on a bunch of games to be over, and I can have my entire focus on that one game. And if mobile sports betting is not available in your state, like myself, do not worry, because you don't need to be sports betting to enjoy DraftKings. I personally like using the DraftKings Fantasy Sports app to check box scores on games and play daily fantasy. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and take advantage of this promotion. New customers that use code STRICTLY and bet $5 on the big game will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code STRICTLY only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Now let's get back into the video. After Jimmer's final season of college basketball, he was taken 10th overall in the 2011 NBA draft by the Kings. There was a lot of mixed emotions with him being taken in the lottery. Sure, he was the nation's leading scorer in college and most likely could provide instant offense at the next level, but there was a lot of skepticism on his defensive ability, athleticism, and quickness for his size. Now remember, Jimmer was being drafted in 2011, and just 2 years before that, there was another college star that could shoot threes and lacked athleticism, Steph Curry. Some NBA teams didn't want to make the same mistake that the Timberwolves did by passing on Steph. I think that's the biggest reason Jimmer went in the lottery. Anyways, Jimmer had a pretty solid rookie season, playing in 61 games, averaging 8 points and 2 assists. And Jimmer Mania was a real thing in Sacramento. Sales of his jersey alone resulted in a 540% increase in the Kings merchandise sales, making it very clear wherever Jimmer played, he was going to be adored by that fan base. Over the next 2 NBA seasons, Jimmer's role in Sacramento really started to diminish. His contract was eventually bought out by the Kings, and he became a free agent. For the following 3 seasons, Jimmer played for multiple NBA teams, but didn't find great success with any of them. He did play the majority of the 2015-2016 season with the Knicks G League affiliate, averaging 21 points, 5 assists, and 4 boards, which helped show that Jimmer had promise as a professional player, just maybe not in the NBA. In the summer of 2016, Jimmer signed a contract to play in the Chinese Basketball Association for the Shanghai Shanghai Sharks. He ended up playing overseas in China for the next 3 years, and this was definitely the right move for his basketball career, because Jimmer quickly became one of the most prolific scorers the CBA has ever seen. During the 118 games he played with the Sharks, Jimmer averaged 37 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, having multiple 70-plus point performances during this time span. Jimmer was really putting up Wilt Chamberlain type numbers. For those who don't know, the CBA is China's top-tier basketball league, so the competition he was going up against was not easy. He played so well with the Shanghai Sharks that the Phoenix Suns ended up offering him a contract in the spring of 2019. Jimmer only played in 6 games with the Suns, averaging 4 points in 10 minutes a game, and then was with the Warriors Summer League team a few months after. In the 2 games he played with the Warriors in the summer of 2019 is actually the last time we saw him playing in an NBA jersey. He left the Warriors Summer League team to go back overseas and play in the Greek Basketball League. Jimmer put up a solid 14 points per game in Greece and then decided to go back to the Shanghai Sharks for the following season. He averaged 27, 6, and 6 in his first season back with the Sharks, continuing to display an elite scoring ability in the CBA. 2021 was actually the last time we saw Jimmer playing professional basketball. Since then, we have seen him make an appearance in the 2022 TBT League, post a ton of training videos on his socials, and play in the FIBA 3v3 AmeriCup tournament this past November. Jimmer has had just a few instances on the basketball court this past year because he has been spending a lot more time with his family. He spent around half of his professional career overseas, and being far away from his family for long periods of time was extremely difficult. Jimmer would FaceTime his wife and 2 kids every single day, but would sometimes go months without physically seeing them. There has been opportunities for him to go back and play in China this year, but his main focus now is spending quality time with his wife and kids. So will we see Jimmer playing pro basketball ever again? I'm not quite sure, but one thing I do know for sure is that Jimmer's basketball career should be viewed as a major success. He's one of the greatest college basketball players ever, who has played 11 professional seasons to this date. And who knows, if we do see Jimmer Mania competing in 3-on-3 basketball during the 2024 Olympics, I'm expecting him to get gold. If you enjoyed this Where Are They Now video, make sure to check out the one we did on 7th Woods, another guy who had massive hype around him for a few years and then slowly faded out of the spotlight. A lot has happened in the life and basketball career of 7th, so make sure to check it out if you haven't already. As always, thank you guys so much for the support. I will see you in the next one.